Thank you for letting me speak. I'm here today to address agenda item number 6, the McLoughlin Point Design Guidelines Ideas Workshop and Open House. So on April 13th, the public open house was held to gather design ideas and guidelines for the proposed centralized wastewater treatment plant at McLoughlin Point. But it would seem to me that the idea of a design workshop is rather premature, given that we are still in the treatment processes design phase of this project. We have not even secured a site for the sewage sludge processing plant yet, but the board is now poised to accept a report on design guidelines for the wastewater treatment plant portion of the system. I know you have this report in front of you, but I would like to quote a bit from it under the implications heading. Following the review of the design guidelines by the Esquimalt Design Review Committee, the design guidelines will be referred to Esquimalt Council for approval, after which they'll be forwarded to the CRD for approval by the board. The approved design guidelines would normally be included in the request for proposals for the McLoughlin treatment plant. However, with the issuance of the RFP scheduled for early July, the design guidelines may not be finalized by then. If not, an addendum to the RFP will be issued at a later date. But this will not impact the schedule for the responses to the RFP, as the design guidelines do not affect the treatment process's design, which has to be done in advance of the building architecture. Yes, the treatment process's design, that annoying little detail about the actual location and final configuration of this entire system. Good design guidelines start from the foundation up. So at this point, I'd like to review the state of the foundation of this plant upon which will sit the wastewater treatment plant, and what an unstable foundation it is. The McLoughlin site was brought forward by Esquimalt as a possible site for a plant within a decentralized treatment system. It was never assumed that this site would be neither appropriate nor desirable for a centralized model. In material from the CRD website under the heading McLoughlin/Macaulay, whereby the CRD was scrambling for a site, it is stated, while the McLoughlin/Macaulay wastewater treatment plant would be the largest plant, the adoption of a distributed strategy means the plant will be smaller than if using a centralized approach. But somehow, after the adoption of Amendment 8 and a return to the centralized configuration, we now hear that this site is appropriate. I quote, "With system design optimization, McLoughlin Point is a suitable site for a centralized facility." System design optimization, to my understanding, means slicing the plant in two, which brings us to the current mess we are in. Let's look at concerns expressed by the peer review team of 2009. If it proves impossible to gain approval from Transport Canada for placing treatment structures on fill in Victoria Harbour, it would be necessary to split the plant in two. In April 2009, the peer review issued their final report on the committee, and they had some strong words about McLoughlin Point. McLoughlin is extremely small for the size of the recommended treatment plant. The site will require full build out to the fence line. Part of the plant must be excavated into rock and then covered, further adding costs. The site is prominently visible from the entrance of the harbor, from cruise ship wharves and the helicopter terminal. Negotiations with property owners and other agencies must be successfully completed. The PRT expresses other serious reservations about the McLoughlin site that are enumerated in Section 6. Resolving these issues will entail a major and possibly prolonged effort. Before proceeding too far down the path of trying to resolve these issues, it would be prudent to ensure that the facilities currently proposed for the site can be accommodated. The PRT recommends further development of conceptual engineering to be done. Have these concerns been addressed to a satisfactory level? I believe they have not. In closing, the responsibility for the current state of affairs we find ourselves in with regards to the path forward rests entirely at the feet of the members of this board as elected leaders of this region. Esquimalt and Vic West will not step in to clean up a mess that is not of our making. On behalf of the residents of Esquimalt and Vic West, I firmly hand the responsibility for cleaning up this mess back to you. Thank you.